Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G. Your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Yowza, yowza, yowza. Well, folks, I just had to start off. It was in my head all day today, and I just wanted to come out and say that. It just reminds me of when I was a kid. And I want to kick off the show, as always, by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody listening, basically around the world, as we are a worldwide show here, folks, at Getting Home Sourced with your host, me, that's right, G. We've got Vegas G, Cabo G, Phoenix G, I guess Universe G, and also Toll Booth G. Remember, now we have toll-free numbers, so it's Toll Booth Free G. And I'm going to kick it right off, 888-528-2810. Don't forget that. Write it down. Or my home phone, 702-528-2810. Yes, that's my home. I use my cell phone as my home phone. Why not? We could do a 2-in-1. So when you're calling me, I feel like that's my home phone because it's glued to my ear basically all day, every day. But I want to start off by saying again, as always, thank you so much for listening in, and it keeps growing. The audience is getting better and better. We're getting more people listening, more interaction, and it's becoming an interactive show, which I appreciate. Thank you so much for the mail last week, for answering questions that people had, and of course, always feel free to write in. But today, folks, I got a yowzer wowzer show here, and I want to jump right in because it's going to be the state of real estate. How do you like that? So instead of the state of real estate, I'm going to say it's the state of real estate, because the state that we're in, no pun intended when I say Nevada, Arizona, and of course Mexico, but it's the state of where we're going heading into 2025. And I was reviewing some interesting things that I'm going to call it BTRs. And I don't know if people who know in the residential field what a BTR is, but a BTR is the designation for build to rent. So what does that mean? Because I'm jumping right in. BTR, build to rent, is what people are doing right now, specifically builders and developers, where across the country, especially in the Sun Belt state, and I'm going to give it to you here, folks. I'm going to start naming names. I'm dropping names because it's the real deal street talk. And we're going to get right into it with Blackstone, because they are the ones that are on the radar here for the last couple of years. Heavily invested in real estate since really before COVID. I think everything came out of the crash really in 2008. But a lot of the hedge funds, Wall Street money that you hear about that's pouring in, well, Vanguard and Blackstone are holding hands with each other now, going in, and AMH is going to be the main person or group that I'm talking about over here, as AMH is the leading, let's just say forefront runner of getting into build to rent properties, where they're building brand new communities across the country, especially the Sun Belt states. And now you're being treated as a consumer if you can't, well, I don't want to say if you can't afford it, but if you can't buy a property right now, and if you don't want to buy a property and you want to rent to figure it out, well, AMH, which is a subsidiary of Vanguard Blackstone, Actually, they were previously rebranded because they were called American Homes for Rent. So American Home for Rent rebranded as the AMH. And basically what that means is that you go into AMH communities all across the Sun Belt states and cities. When I say Sun Belt, it's the West Coast, Southwest, you got a Midwest, Texas area, what have you, going into like Georgia, Florida, and what have you, and the Midwest states as well, where you can go in and basically pay rent for a brand new property that they build for you as if you were paying a mortgage for a brand new home. So I think this is an important topic to talk about today because it gives people an option where they're on the fence, they're getting pressured to buy, they don't know what to do, and especially for foreigners, when I say foreigners, meaning, out not US citizens, so Canadians, people from Mexico, people from Europe, people from all over. If you're looking to come into the country and you're not sure how to buy, AMH.com, I want you guys to go to it, AMH.com, look it up. A is in Apple, M is in Mary, H is in Harry.com. It goes in there, gives you all the states and cities that they're in. I want you to check them out because I think it's very important for you to understand that with this company, again, think of Invitation Homes. So for people that are in the US that understand Invitation Homes, especially out in the West Coast, and here literally locally in my backyard in Las Vegas, Nevada. They got hammered, big lawsuit, $83 million. They had to pay out to their consumers and their tenants. Why? Because they were manipulating the system and they were forcing the tenants to use and go through their company to buy air filters and smoke detectors and all sorts of things that were really outrageous and ridiculous.
Oh
So
my
you may want to
God.
Google invitationhomes.com. But we're not going to talk about them. We're talking about the fact of, build to rent because there's companies now. And folks, guess what? Lennar, DR Horton, two builders I'm going to throw out there at you, some other name dropping. They're actually getting into the mix now where if you can't buy a home or you don't want to buy a home, they are setting up subsidiaries in their company, their development, their builder division, where you can go in, they'll guide you to communities that they're going to set up specifically to build for you to rent in. Now, you can't buy it right now, but you're going to rent in it. And so this seems to be a big trend that's booming right now because since a lot of people are on the fence, we don't know what's happening. We're going to be talking, we're going to do our pre-election show next week, post-election show the week after, of course, and I'm going to be down in Cabo. So I'm kind of giving you the preamble and the coming attractions that we're going to be covering. But for right now, it just seems like this is an underbelly that I think a lot of people don't know about that I want to bring to the forefront. And I want to get out there to people that are listening to the show because you guys already know I'm telling it like it is. And whether people like it or not, I mean, this is the real deal real estate, right? So, with that being the case, I just want to make sure that people have options. And that's the key. I'm a realtor here in Las Vegas, 26 years, Arizona for 20, and Mexico, Cabo, San Lucas specifically for 2.5 now. But everybody always pushes about, hey, you got to buy, you got to sell, you got to do whatever, right? So in this instance, I'm telling you that, hey, you know what? There is another side to getting into this country. If you're a foreigner, if you can't purchase, this is an option. If you want to purchase, obviously you're going to call me and I'm going to get you in the right direction. But as a referral, I like to acknowledge people because you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, folks, you go onto their website, amh.com, you're going to see it's pretty pricey. And I think it's important to know, and for all my realtor friends that are listening to the show as well, you may want to check them out because what's happening right now is that these people that are going out there building these communities, guess what? They don't answer their phone, just like most listing agents across the country. And you know who you are, so raise your hand in silence and in shame at the same time. Just kidding, but not kidding. So it's like sorry, but not sorry. But at the end of the day, what's happening is that people are driving by communities. You do your phone QR code, scan in, you put your application in, and everything's done online. And then at the end, back end, when you get into the property that you're looking for, they tell you what's available. Then that's when you get on the phone and start going through the final details of the contract and negotiations and application fees. And I got to tell you, folks, I was looking at some stuff out here in Vegas online, and boy, oh boy, that is real pricey stuff. So I'm telling you, it is not cheap to get into these subdivisions that AMH is doing over here. And I don't know how it's like across the country. I mean, you could check it out: Georgia, Florida, Idaho, Illinois, California, Oregon. It's really all over the place, except for the northern states. They know better not to go up in there because it's just not going to work for them. But the reason why the Sun Belt states is the migration areas, so that's where they're concentrating their attention on. So I want to take a moment to cover in detail all that, but first I want to take a quick commercial break because we got a lot to cover in the second half, and I'll be right back.
Is money tight? Don't think you can afford a home? Or maybe you have some credit problems. These are common issues that the team at Vegas Home Source deals with every day. We are in the business of helping people like you. Don't let your everyday problems hold you back from getting that dream home. You owe it to yourself to reach out to us today and let us show you what we can do for you. Visit us online at vegashomesource.com. Remember, the smart choice is a right choice when you shop with Vegas Home Source. So reach out to us today.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. I know you love me, and I love you guys back even more so. So I just want you guys to know that. I love you from my heart. And for people that are listening for the first time, Getting Home Source with G, that's me. And the way to contact me, Gianno at vegashomesource.com. Again, my toll booth free number, 888-528-2810. And my cell phone, domestic, 702-528-2810. And of course, my website, which is what? Tell me, folks. Tell me what it is. You don't know? Okay. GettingHomeSource.com and VegasHomeSource.com. So you have both, and CaboG.net all in one, right? So you can get Mexico, you can get the US, you get everything that you want. I got a whole bunch of domains. It goes right to me, so don't worry about it. We got everything covered. Now, back with the second half of the show. So right now with the state of real estate, we could see a lot of people are on the sidelines. Things are slow. I could tell you personal experience right now. A lot of my clients are just really wanting to hold off until the election. I get that because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball. If we had a crystal ball, we would be doing other things, right? But I think it's important to give people the opportunity to not feel pressured, where I feel a lot of people are pressured into making decisions and getting squeezed. And this outlet of the build to rent format and build to rent component that's going to be an added on version for real estate developers and builders. Check them out and see. It may work for you. It may not work for you. Who knows? But I will tell you that, you have approximately, gosh, I mean, you're talking about $2,500 and up for rent for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, just as an average over here in Las Vegas,
Oh my
in certain
God.
community, which I'm not going to name names on that one right now. But just to give you an example, and then your application fee, your pet fee, your cleaning fee, your online fee, everything's a fee. You're looking at probably about $3,000 before you're moving in, and then you're paying your rent. So the key here is that what they're doing, AMH, is they will build a home for you. You go in, you get a 16-month lease. If you want to renew it, you'll renew it. Of course, that's going to go up in price. We already know that. It's not going to be fixed or flat, which we hope it would be, right? That would be a great thing, but it's not. So they're going to compare it to like a mortgage rate that you'd be paying for if you were to buy a new home. So that's how they're going to treat you, as I said before. And then let's say after 16 months, you would decide you want to leave. Now, America Home for Rent, they're the ones that are going to come in on the back end, rehab, fix up the home if it's trashed or what have you, bring it up to par if it needs to be. And then they're going to take over as the resale version of renting that property. So,
what a mess.
To explain again, AMH comes in, they're the builder, they build a home brand new, right? You're going right in brand new, renting a home, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, what have you. You're going to pay whatever rent it is. So let's just say average in Nevada, Las Vegas, you're always paying minimum 100 price per square foot of the property. So if it's 2,500 square feet, you're paying minimum 2,500, and I've seen instances where it's 2,750 or 2,800 a month, and that's not even including the other fees that they tack on top for landscaping, for if there's a pool, for cleaning the pool. So you got to be careful because that 2,700 or 2,800 can wind up being 3,000, right? So you'll talk about that with AMH. But once you leave that property and you go on to hopefully buy from me a property in Vegas or Arizona or perhaps Mexico, then American Home for Rent will come in. You're already moved out. Now they'll turn around and be the resale side of re-renting that new home build that you lived in for the first year and a half, and then they take over. So they're 2-in-1. There's two different arms, but they are the subsidiary company of the parent company, which is Vanguard and Blackstone. So just be mindful of doing your due diligence in the city that you're in and checking those out, because I think it's important to understand that each state and city is going to be different in how you're going about the renting process and the application process. So this tells me, as a realtor that's been in the business for 26 years now, that if the builders now are not selling their spec homes, which, by the way, with their fiscal year end, for instance, Lennar, their fiscal year end is November. So they're going to give incentive on interest rates for people to go in there, rush right away to close a deal by Thanksgiving in order to get their 2% down, 3%, 4% interest rate specials, first year, second year, third year, cap out of 5, right? But outside of that, December becomes their fiscal first year, and now it's not calendar year ending, it's basically their fiscal year beginning. So November ends, December starts. So you have to check out the builders to see what kind of deals they're giving, because quite honestly, things are going to change with them. And again, I'm going to call out Lennar. Again, Lennar is a company that now they're getting a little bit frisky. They love realtors when it's Christmas time, fourth quarter, to get things off the books. However, when it's first quarter, they don't know your name. They forgot who you are, right? So shame on you guys a little bit. I got to call you out. I'm not happy with that, because as a realtor, I've supported them. I've given them business over the years. And now all of a sudden they're playing the game where they're taking advantage of the commission situation. Not to say that they don't want to pay commissions. They don't have to if they don't want to. But they're being finicky and picky, choosy about how they want to do it. And they kind of slight the buyer as much as they're sliding me as a realtor, because now you're squeezing my buyer, because if you're not going to pay me, Lennar, now I got to go chase down basically my client. That's kind of bad business. I don't go for it. I don't like that. I know D.R. Horton's better. I know KB, Beezer, love you guys, but Lennar, you're kind of on the list where, you kind of got to figure it out. You guys got tons of money. Let's not be greedy with it. Let's spread the love. Let's have a good working relationship going into 2025 and hope that it can be better. But for all point and purposes for this show, again, the state of real estate is that the builders and AMH hedge funds are building communities, Sunbelt states, Midwest, Northwest, and Southeast, I should say, which is Atlanta, Georgia, and the Florida corridor, to get into properties that are brand new. But do you need a realtor for that? Nope. You're going to go in there and do it yourself. I would highly advise, if you do have a realtor, to help you out with that. Maybe in some states and cities, maybe they may be good, and Christmas comes early to me and they'll give me some money in commission. It's not going to be commission, folks. Let's face facts. When you're doing a rental for somebody, it's really just a referral fee. I mean, I've seen as high as 1,000 here in Las Vegas, but that's not a lot. So just remember, when somebody's helping you out, folks, to rent the property, it is not big money. It's covering gas expenses and basically paying out 10% to your broker. So we're just calling it like it is. I'm telling you what's happening on the back end here. It's not like we're going to go out and buy a brand new Porsche or a Cadillac or something like that with rental money. No, it's gas money. It's helping you out as a client, because for me, it's not about the money. I enjoy helping people do rentals, because you know what? If you love me fighting for you to get a rental, you're going to want to fight with me to go get you a brand new home the time comes as a buyer. So on that note, I just want to say thank you again for listening. Love you guys. I love everything. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everybody listening to me. Again, the show is growing, and I really love the participation, the interaction. I love bringing all the information to you. These shows just get me really amped up because I just really want to get out there and push the message that, we're having a normal conversation. But also, I also want to tell you what's going on the other side. It's not all rosy on the front end. You do have some serious stuff on the back end. Again, check them out. And for people that want to purchase or sell, you know how to get a hold of me. Gianno, VegasHomeSource.com, and my website, VegasHomeSource.com. So on that note, thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a great week this week. Remember, we're going to be doing our pre-election show following week, and then we're going to do our post-election show. And then, of course, I'm going to be in Cabo November 12th to the 26th. So if you're down in Mexico, in my neck of the woods, let me know. Send me an email. Let's get together. I'm telling you, Cabo's going to be a whole different ball game after the election. Trust me when I tell you. And on that note, love you all. Take care. God bless.